Hello, this is Sheshachalam from Astroguide Mysore. Today, let us understand the position of a planet in a particular degree of a given chart and how it is relevant to understand whether the planet will give us positive results, what intensity the positive results will be, whether it will give negative results, and what intensity the negative results will be. So, the negative part I'll be doing later on. First, let us understand how the planet will positively, impact a chart and the results will be. This particular class will be on Vishesha Amshas. That is, Amsha means division. So we have Shodashamshas, we have many Varga charts. So these are called Vargas. Vargas means divisions. So we have Hora, Drakkana, Chaturtamsha, Panchamamsha, Saptamsha, Navamsha, Dashamsha, Dvadashamsha, Shodashamsha, and after that we have Vimshamsha, Chaturvimshamsha, Trimshamsha. After Trimshamsha we have Kavedamsha, Akshavedamsha. In between that D27 Bhamsha, and then we have Shashti Amsha. It's a huge list of divisional charts, and I am doing that particular series also. I have just done the Hora chart for understanding the higher levels of clarity as to what actually is Hora, what actually is Drakana. So those classes will also be, following. But along with that, this is a class, is a single class in which I am trying to explain from Phaladeepika to understand what is Parijatamsha, Gopuramsha, etc. So, when a planet repetitively is placed in the D1 chart, inclusive of the D1 chart, in the other Nava Amsha Kundalis like the D2, D3, D5, D4, D5, D9, D10, D12. So, if we are repetitively seeing its placement in either an exaltation position, Mula Trikona position, own house or friend's house, it starts giving us a count of positivity. So we need to count that. The Mula Trikona's position is specifically specified because Moon does not have a Mula Trikona in its own sign, or it does not even gets exalted in its own sign. So many planets don't get exalted in their own sign. Jupiter gets exalted in Karkatak Rashi, Saturn gets exalted in Tula Rashi. So that exaltation point is different. So the sign of exaltation, the sign of Mula Trikona, the sign of the own sign, and the sign of friendly houses, if a planet is repetitively placed from D1, D2, D3, D7, D4, D5, D7, D9, D10, D12, D16, then again D20, D24, D27, D30, then D40, D45, D60. It's called Shodasha Vargas. So in these Shodasha Vargas, the number of repetitions are seen. Yeah, as per Phaladeepika, only 13 Vargas are considered, but let us consider all the Shodasha Vargas. We'll just go into it, and the names for each repetition is considered. So the thing is, if it is not well posited, that doesn't mean that it is negatively posited. For negative position, it has to be either in debilitation, or it has to be in a malefic varga, that is, it has to be in an enemy house. So we'll come to that later. First, let us do positives. So if it repeats two times in positive varga, then we call it as parijatamsha. Three times it is called uttamamsha. Four times gopuramsha. Five times simhasanamsha. Six parvatamsha. Seven devalokamsha. 8 Suralokamsha, and 9 it is called Airavatamsha. So these Amshas are having different results. Like for example, as per the Paladipika, for Parijatamsha, the person will get respectability in society. He will have good, social presence. He will have very good nature, have virtues, good qualities, wealth, happiness, a good position in the society. So this is a good Amsha, Parijata Amsha. Any planet being in Parijata Amsha, and in its Dasha Bhukti, if it is well placed in the 10th house, 9th house, 5th house, see, everything has to be well placed. You need positive result, right? So it has to be well placed. So the next one is Uttama Amsha, a very, witty person, very intelligent person, intellectual person, extremely well behaved person. Okay, next is Gopuramsha. You have once again, a lot of wealth, amassing wealth, acquiring a lot of property, and having a prosperous surrounding. It's not that he gets attached to the wealth; those things will have to be seen from the individual chart. But what is that particular planet might give in that particular dasha bhukti is to be understood. Next, Simhasanamsha. It will give you a position in the government or an equal position in the society where you will be like a chairman of a panchayat, or you will be like a, president of a community. You will be getting that elevated position where people will ask you suggestions. People don't come and ask suggestion to everybody. They will ask suggestions and advice from people who have experience and position. So, Parvatamsha. Parvata means mountain. Parvatamsha. You will have an excellent, placement in the society wherein you will be rich. You will be a owner of, a lot of land. You will be actually controlling villages. It's like as good as a deputy collector's job. Parvatamsha is a very strong Amsha. It is regarded as one of the best placement for a planet if it is associated with the 10th Lord, should to give IAS, IPS big placements where people will look upon them as idols. So Devaloka Amsha. Devaloka means the abode of the gods. So these people get into spiritual elevation. They get excellent favor from the society. Spiritual elevation does not simply come to you. It takes a lot of practice and perseverance. And Devalokamsha, if that particular planet's dasha is running, that is the time when we should, as astrologers, tell that this person has a time for attaining spirituality. So Suralokamsha. So again, Suralokamsha here is Suraloka means heaven. So Devaloka is the abode of gods. So here people who have this strong planet, if it is a benefic planet like Shukra, if it is a benefic planet like Jupiter, it gives you a good wife, a good husband, a good partner, a good financial background, not much of a difficulty to understand partners. So this is a very beautiful placement for having a prosperous family, lot of children, good children. So Suralokamsha. In that particular planet's Dasha Bhukti, and if that planet represents the fifth lord or it represents the fifth house, placed in the fifth house, PAC, we tell position, aspect, and conjunction. It should be there with the planet which has attained this particular status. So we have all these amshas, and Airavata Amsha once again, which will give you an extremely good elevated spiritual mindset with intellectual things. So these people can become pravachanakaras. So those people who can get into preaching, teaching, professors, people who know how to interpret a tough subject and make it simple to others. So people who have Airavatamsha, they are the people who are known as well read and well taught people. Thank you very much for today's class.